Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, thank you so much for tuning in once again. I have a super fun reading vlog to start here for you guys. I am doing a full week of reading only ARCs, or advanced reader copies. Now, if you don't know what an ARC is, it is an advanced copy of either an ebook or a physical book of a book that's up and coming or is going to be released in usually around 3 to 6 months. There's multiple ways you can get ARCs. I will not delve into that right now. However, all these ARCs came directly from publishers. I am so grateful and blessed to receive these ARCs. I only read physical media, so I only receive physical ARCs that I request. But that being said, I have a lovely stack here, and I thought I'd do this reading vlog because one, I've been slacking on reading my physical ARCs and need to get through them because I prefer to read and review ARCs before they're published. And so one of these books is being published on June 30th, and the rest of them are being published on July 7th. So it is a great time to crack down and get through these books. Now, my policy when it comes to ARCs is to always attempt to read it. I will DNF ARCs because I cannot waste my time regardless of where I got the book or what context it's in. So I'm going to show you all the ARCs I have, and then I'm going to give a little backup option as well because I can help myself. So that way, if I do DNF an ARC, I have another book that I can put in place of it. So here is the reading list for this week. First book I have is Gray After Dark. This is by Noelle W. Hilly, I think. And this is the one being published June 30th. Now, this has already been published before. This is coming from Kensington. However, I think it's either coming from indie to trad, or they're just re-releasing it with a sprayed edge. For some reason, they're re-releasing it, and so they gave me this copy, and I am very excited for it. The tagline is "Run, Rabbit, Run. The close proximity and destitute wilderness of Frida McFadden's The Crash meets the female-driven grit of Yellow Jackets." And this is a abduction and survival thriller, so sounds absolutely chaotic, and you'll actually come to find that the majority of these books are thrillers, so I'm going to be having a little summer-ween moment here. But yes, this will be the first book to read. And all the rest, I'll just choose which one I feel like I want to read more. I'll publish July 7th, so I can kind of mood read as I go. But this next one is Everything Was Beautiful and Nothing Hurt. This is by Ben Reeves, and the publisher is Avid Reader Press. This is a literary fiction novel about the beauty of finding hope and meaning in the brevity of life. And as far as I know, this might be even speculative fiction because it's narrated by death, so I'm pretty sure it's using death as an actual character. And I've actually heard nothing but great things about this book, so I'm very excited. I'm hoping it's not the type of book that will make you cry, but you never know. And the next option is Don't Look Away. This is by Danielle Kenitiz, and the publisher is Scribner. This is a domestic crime thriller where a former defense attorney is forced out of retirement to defend her husband, who is now the prime suspect of a serial murder case. Sounds absolutely nuts. I love a crime thriller specifically when there's a female main character, so I hope I really love this. Next in the lineup is Pretty Dead Things. This is by Kelsey Cox, and the publisher is Minotaur. The tagline is "Pageants are where perfection can kill, and everyone's dying to win." So as far as I know, this is a beauty pageant thriller. That concept sounds so unique, so I am intrigued. Next is Wisdom Corner. Forgive my pronunciation. The author is David Heska Wombley Whedon, I believe, and the publisher imprint is Echo. And this is a thriller about life and death on a Native American reservation. I believe that the author is Native American as well, so I'm very excited to see where this book will go with that certain context. And the last book we'll be reading is Last Night Was Killer. This is by Mary Pauline Laurie, and the publisher is William Morrow Books. This is a thriller about a single mom trying to do it all, and that includes solving a murder that she may or may not have committed. It seems like this might be more of a comedy thriller, so we shall see, but I do think the cover is super fun. And that is our lineup for the week. Like I said, I'm going to be starting with Gray After Dark, and I'll check in with you guys either 100 pages in, or maybe I'll just be so sucked in that I'll just check in once I'm finished. Thrillers can be that way. Oh, I forgot my substitution. Let me grab it. Okay, the understudy, the substitution for if I end up DNFing one of these books is Redemption Arc. This is by Ashley Perkins, and I wanted to read this because this is actually an independently published book by the author, and she sent me a finished copy, and I so appreciate that. I got sent one other independently published book by an author, and I actually really enjoyed it, Oaths of Ruin. So I'm really hoping to have the same experience with this one. This is a Hollywood romance, and I am very excited. It seems really interesting, and the tagline is, "How much of her own life is she willing to sacrifice to repair someone else's reputation?" Oh, and the welcome card just popped out of it. Anyways, yes, I will check back in once I have anything to say about Gray After Dark, and let's get this reading vlog started. Did I maybe just film this entire reading update without turning the camera on? Possibly. but we're gonna all pretend that didn't happen. Hello, hi. It is the same day. It's almost midnight. The lighting is absolutely crazy, but I just had this feeling I wanted to get this book review up and finished so I could start my next book without any strings attached, okay? So yes, I finished Grey After Dark. I won't lie, like every other sort of thriller out there, there's an addictive quality to this book. I couldn't put it down for the most part, and it was very easy to read, so I finished it within the last few hours. I'm going to be giving this book a 3.75. It had some strong points, but also some weak points. It's not perfect, but I think if you're looking for a very standard, predictable survival story, then you will probably like this. I will say though, this book is very dark, darker than I anticipated. There were no trigger warnings in this book. It is an advanced reader copy, so oftentimes there's not those extra things before or after a book, like an author's note or acknowledgements, etc. I did read a review where someone was like, the trigger warnings did not prepare me, so perhaps there are trigger warnings in the finished copy, but with mine, there was none. And it gets very dark. It gets very gritty. This is basically the borderline of what I can handle with a book. Because it's a survival story about our main character, Miley, and she gets abducted by a father-son crazy-ass duo who are these preppers, cultists, and they want to kidnap her so they can tame her to be a wife for the son. And they tame her by beating her, sexually assaulting her, basically doing anything terrible you can do to a woman. So please take care of yourself and mind your triggers before starting this. Like I said, this is very dark. It's about all as much as I can handle. While the sexual assault and beating scenes aren't super graphic, they're somewhat plentiful. So like I said, be mindful. I will also say it took me a little bit to get into this book. The first 50 pages are very character driven, which for me is a little hard to get into when it comes to a thriller. I'm kind of expecting the plot to just hit the ground running. In this case, we kind of were just introduced to Miley and we are given backstory on her trauma and how she ended up where she was. I'm not saying that that's not important, but it just took me a bit to get into this when a lot of other thrillers that hooks you from the first page, right? But once you get to about the halfway mark, it really gets going. It's basically nonstop action. Where it does fall flat for me is there is a lack of twists or reveals for this book. So while it's categorized as a thriller, this is very much just a basic survival story in the sense that it's predictable. I knew exactly where the story was going, and you're more so just along for the ride. Again, that might be something you prefer and might make you want to pick up this book. But if you're someone who needs a lot of twists in their thrillers, then this book might not be your vibe. Also, this book is loosely based off of the true crime story of Carrie Swenson, who actually is very similar to our main character and was abducted herself by a father-son duo. And so I might understand that perhaps the author didn't want to take certain creative liberties and wanted to tone down the melodrama with this book since it was based off of a true story. However, whenever I do see that, and I don't see it often, honestly, I do wonder if the author reached out to the victim or even just notified them that they were creating this. I don't know if Noelle did or not. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt since I don't know, but a part of me does feel sort of icky that this is based on a true story and hopefully the actual true story victim knows about this book and this sort of fictionalized tale and is okay with it. I don't know. I know there's lots of gray area there, but a part of me can't help but like scratch my head a little bit at that. But like I said, this book is just okay. It's 3.75 because I did not hate it at all. It was intriguing. It was fast paced once we got to that halfway point. I was invested in our main character and reading for her survival, but there were also a lot of characters that I felt like were not fully fleshed out. There is a love interest in this book, and this book is also sort of a love story in a way that I'm not exactly sure meshed with the survival element. And there's also a character death in this book that I feel like gets brushed over the rug way too quickly. There's definitely an audience for Grey After Dark that would really love it. I'm just not sure I am that. It was okay, it was fine. 3.75 it is. Alrighty, that is one book down on the first day of the vlog. I'm proud of myself. I've already decided which book I'm picking up next, and that's going to be Everything Was Beautiful and Nothing Hurt. This is by Ben Reeves. This is the one speculative fiction, literary fiction that I have, and I just think I definitely need a little reprieve from how dark this book was. This book seems to be a speculative fiction because it personifies death as a man named Travis who lives in the modern world, wears jeans and a t-shirt, and offers people the comfort in their final hours of life. But then it seems like he meets a woman and her 8-year-old daughter, and as they become to embrace Travis, he finds it more difficult to have that same detachment he's always had with people. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a happy ending. I'm not sure if it's going to be hopeful or sad, but it just seems like a little bit more of a reprieve from this dark thriller that I just finished. So this will be the next book, and I will pop in once I have something to say, either in the middle or at the very end. I always intend to film clips of me reading as well to kind of do a little interlude in between books, but then I forget, and then I don't get my camera. So there might just be rough cuts in between when I finish book to book, so I hope y'all are okay with that. That's just how I roll. And yeah, I will see y'all when I have something to say about Everything Was Beautiful and Nothing Hurt. Hello everyone, I'm here with a little reading update. I'm not finished this book. I'm about this way through. I just thought I'd talk about my feelings because I'm having a little bit of a hard time. I am. I can tell that this book is good. if that makes sense. It's about Death, who is personified as a guy in his 30s that wears like jeans and t-shirt, and he goes around and he goes to people who are passing. So there's lots of stories of him. He helped someone in a car accident pass away. He's helped elderly people. There's a story about a 5-month-old baby. So it is very impactful. It's very sad. Like, I feel what the book is going for, but it's not gripping me yet. And that's where I think I'm starting to struggle. And so one part of me was thinking that, oh, I'll just put this down for now, and then I'll go pick up one of the thrillers that I have on this reading challenge, and, you know, I'll read that and come back to this. But I low-key feel like if I do that, I won't come back to this. I just know myself. So my reading update is I'm struggling a little bit. I'm like only, I think, 44 pages in, but I'm going to try keep chugging. My next check-in might be, yep, I DNF this, but my hope is that I pushed through and finished it, even if it's sort of dragging for me. Because if y'all know me, you'll know that I have a tendency to DNF the drop of a hat. And most of the time, I think that's a good trait. But particularly when it comes to ARCS, I feel like it's a bad trait. I want to make sure I'm fully pushing through the utmost that I can to finish ARCS because I am very grateful that they're being sent to me. I don't want to take it for granted, and I want to be able to give a full review. Even if it's a negative review, even if I give it a 2-star, at least I finished the full book and can give out a review. I know a lot of times publishers would rather you just not review at all if it's a bad review, but from my perspective on the way that I review ARCS, I would rather at least have finished it and fully reviewed it versus DNF. Because if I DNF, then the publisher just never hears from me, and they think that I didn't read it and I just didn't care that they sent me this, when I totally do. Anyways, it's my ramble. That's my update. It's probably going to take me the rest of the night and maybe tomorrow to try to finish this, but by golly, my goal is to do so. We will see. That's the update. So yeah, I'm going to go clock into Love Island and then pick this book back up and try to get through it. And I will check back in with y'all when I hopefully have finished it. Hi. Hello. I'm DNFing. Oh my gosh. I think it's the first time I've talked to y'all with my glasses on. Let me take them off. I just think I gotta start saying that when I feel I'm going to DNF a book, it's going to happen, because I don't think there's literally been any time where I say I'm going DNF and I haven't. I want to push through so bad, but you guys, I don't know what's happening. I literally cannot turn the page. I read one page and I'm immediately distracted. I don't know where my head's at. I want to say that it's environmental, that if I pick this book up tomorrow, it'll be different, but I know deep in my heart it won't be. And I'll just say this is not a DNF out of truly disliking this book. I totally see the appeal of this book. I think it's for a lot of people. I also recommend it to you if you're looking for a heartfelt book where death is personified. But for some reason, for me right now, it's not hooking me. It's not grabbing me. I would rather do anything than read this book right now for some reason. I don't know what it is. So DNF, I guess. I feel weird about it. I really do, especially because it's an ARC, but I'm also not going to put myself in a reading slump for that. No. So let's go see what other book options we have. I have them right here. These are other books. Technically, I could just one-to-one substitute it with Redemption Arc, though the only thing about Redemption Arc is it's already published, obviously, so that's not working towards my goal of reading stuff that's going to be published soon. However, these are all going to be published July 7th, so I really do have like another week and a half until they're published. So you know what? I'm going to go with Redemption Arc. Let me get all my goodies out of here. I'm going to use the little postcard I got, a little note from the author, as my bookmark. I actually have a proper bookmark. But yeah, I just am very excited because this is from an independent author and they were so sweet to send me this. And it's also romance, so I feel like I'm really hoping to be enthralled. That is the goal here. So all right, that's my book update. DNFing, everything was beautiful, nothing hurt, sadly, and picking up Redemption Arc. Miss Perkins, do not do me wrong. Please, I need you to enthrall me. I need you to get me invested. Hopefully I'll come back to you with a positive reading update. All right, you guys, hear me. I take no pleasure in saying this. I might DNF this. I feel awful about it. This is self-published, and I so respect that and appreciate the work the author put into it. There is a lot of formatting and spelling errors in this, and I'm trying to move past it, but it's getting very rough, and I'm getting the same exact feeling as I did with the other book, where it is a struggle to turn the page. So, yeah, gosh, I feel so bad. I'm just DNFing books one after another, but you know what? I feel like I actually DNF ARCs the more frequency than other books, obviously because I'm receiving an ARC of a non-published book, and I'm hoping that it's good, but I feel like books that I actually buy, I take reviews and recommendations from other people that already say that it's good, you know? Whereas ARCs, I'm just picking it up hoping it's good, and it may or may not be. So, gosh, another one bites the dust. However, I'm going to have my husband pick out of the 4 remaining arcs of this challenge what I'm going to read next, because hopefully his judgment is better than mine and I can actually finish a damn book. Are you still choosing, honey?
I got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
Okay, which one you grabbing?
Wisdom Corner.
And why did that appeal to you?
I like the premise.
Okay.
Of
That's the one that's written by a Native American author, and it's based on a reservation, right?
Yeah, it takes place on a res.
Yeah. Oh, that was interesting too. So he's picking Wisdom Corner, which is the Native American reservation thriller. I've never read one with that setting, so I was very excited to receive it, and I've heard good things so far. So fingers freaking crossed. This is what it looks like if you need your memory refreshed. Yeah, fingers crossed this is good, because I might lose my mind if I DNF this book as well. Please pray for me, or I don't know, send good vibes. I don't know, just do something, because if I don't finish this book, I'm going to be so mad. Hello, I'm coming at you with another midnight review, because that's when I seem to finish all of my books. I'm going to go to bed soon, however, I forgot to watch Love Island tonight. Don't know how that happened. I was absorbed in the FIFA World Cup games. Both of the games today, the last 2 games, went to penalty kicks and like sudden death. It was crazy. Anyways, so it's like 11:30 at night and I have finished Wisdom Corner. Yes, finished. Praise the universe. I actually finished this book. I'm still stuck between the 3.75 and a 4 star, so whatever I put on screen is going to be my final rating. Around midway to 75% done, I was leaning more towards 3.75, but then as I finished it and I read the author's note and everything, 4 stars also pulling my mind. Let me set your expectations for this book. It says thriller on the back. No. This is a literary suspense, almost historical fiction suspense novel. This is giving Jack Reacher vibes. This is giving S.A. Cosby Razorblade Tears vibes. This book is about Virgil, who is a vigilante on his reservation, but it's the classic he's trying to clean up his act, but he keeps getting pulled into this gang violence, to these attacks happening to people he knows on the reservations, and actively trying to fight this company that's trying to build these like luxury apartments on top of a Native American burial ground and a formal Native American boarding school. There is a lot of history and knowledge packed in this book, which is partly good. I just was not expecting it. This reads almost very historical fiction, because there is just blocks of text and dialogue talking about Native American history and what they had to go through with the Native American boarding schools, stealing children and teaching them to not be Native American through various means of abuse. What life is like on a Native American reservation, and how alcohol and drugs are very prevalent, and how there's little to no help from the federal government. There is a lot of that in this book, which again I enjoyed because it was interesting to learn about. However, it does not lean towards that thriller genre, if you can understand what I'm saying there. Also, this would probably not normally be a book I would pick up if it was not sent to me, now knowing what I know. I did read S.A. Cosby's Razorblade Tears and I didn't love it. I just am not super interested in especially male perspectives, vigilantes, men that decide to use violence to get what they want, and that's how they live their life. And again, that's why I just feel like thriller should not be in this description, because there's no real thrills in this, in my opinion. Things happen, sure, plot happens, but the reveals aren't exciting or super unexpected. The majority of this novel is not very fast-paced at all, so it's hard because I could enjoy this book for what it is, but what it is not my favorite type of book to read. I think the main reason why I kept reading and was able to finish this book was because of the higher quality of the writing. I do believe the author, David Heska Whedon, is a great author. I really enjoyed his prose. I just felt that the quality of the writing was very high, so I was able to digest the information even if it wasn't super exciting to me, in a way that helped me feel like I want to finish this book. Also, apparently this is book 2 in an interconnected standalone series. He's also the author of this book, Winter Counts, and I don't know that. So I read this as a standalone. I think it can be read as a standalone. I've seen some reviews saying that they wish they would have read the first book before reading this, but I went in basically completely blind to this book, and I feel like I knew everything I needed to know about these characters. So yes, if you're someone who really likes that S.A. Cosby style of writing, very gritty, a very male-centered perspective, and you like that vigilante justice, sort of low-level, very grounded crime story, you will probably really like this, especially if you're into if you're into learning more about Native American history. However, if you're looking for a thriller in the traditional sense of the word, I just don't feel like you're going to get that in this book. So I really wish books would stop marketing themselves as thrillers when, in my opinion, that's just not what this is. And that's okay. Like, we don't have to market every somewhat suspenseful book as a thriller, you know? Anyways, that being said, finished Wisdom Corner. I'm already picked out the next book I'm going to read in our stack, and that is Pretty Dead Things. And that's because I actually just saw a YouTuber I watch, Gabby Reads, do a reading vlog where she read this. I think she just thought it was okay. However, she said she read another book by this author and really liked it. So I'm very curious. This is the beauty pageant thriller, and that is a setting I have not read yet in a thriller. So I'm excited for this. Anyways, I know I look crazy. I know the time is crazy. I'm going to go watch my Love Island, and I'll update y'all when I have any thoughts or I have finished Pretty Dead Things. Alrighty, I finished Pretty Dead Things. I think I've settled on a 3.75. It's hard because with thrillers sometimes it has to really grip me and be memorable for me to want to give it any higher than maybe a 4-star. In this book, the main event that haunts the narrative is the disappearance of one of the local girls of this small Texas town that happened 25 years ago. And then we kind of flash forward to the present where there's a really big beauty pageant going on and all these families kind of converge in this small town and secrets get exposed. There's a huge web of lies. And so it's told between those two timelines. And I will just say there are so many characters in this book. That's the one thing that sort of got me on the wrong foot when starting this book. There is about 5 different main point of views and many like children and teenagers that are being a part of this pageant. It's a lot to keep up with. Eventually, about halfway through the book, I was able to sort of keep up with everyone, but I had to actively remind myself who people were almost the entire time. And honestly, it's hard to talk about what happened in this book or my feelings on it because overall, I just don't know if this is a book I'm going to be thinking about or really remember in about a week or two. For me to talk about a thriller very animatedly, it has to do a few things. It has to really shock me with the twist, or it has to make me feel a compelling emotion like nervousness, anxiety, increase my heart rate while I'm reading. It has to give me that feeling where I just cannot leave the page. I have to turn the next one and I'm up till 2 a.m. reading because I need to finish it. This book did not give me any of that. It was a fine thriller if you're really into small town antics and maybe you're into reading about a beauty pageant with these fake nice southern people, then this book might be for you. It just didn't wow me and it didn't really give me any sort of thrills necessarily. Sure, I did not really see the twist or the reveal coming. I also didn't feel super shocked either. This book just feels very mid. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. And so usually my mid-ranged rating is a 3.5 or 3.75. And I feel like a 3.75 is very fair for this book. So that's what I'll be giving it. Sorry I don't really have that much more to say. It just wasn't super impressive onto me. And yeah, I just feel like I really have nothing else to say about it. So, you know, okay, it was just a fine thriller. All right, we have 2 more arcs in this challenge left. Last Night Was Killer and Don't Look Away. And you guys, I think I might be tapping out a bit early of this challenge. I did not realize in this particular set of arcs that were all due on July 7th that they were all going to be thrillers. I'm getting thriller burnt out. Really. So I'm just going to choose one of these books to read and finish for this vlog, and then we're moving on because I am craving romantasy. So I really want to move on and do maybe a reading only romantasy for a week vlog because the thrillers, they're just burning me out. But the problem is I don't know which one to pick. So I'm going to go look on Goodreads and see which has the highest ratings so far. Okay, Last Night Was Killer has a 4.2 rating, which is pretty good with 363 reviews. And Don't Look Away has a 4.17 rating, but only 35 reviews. Now, normally if you have a lower amount of reviews, your rating will be higher because you've only had very few people review it. Though that can also cause a detriment if only a few people reviewed it and there's one negative review, it can tank your score. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. However, the fact that Last Night Was Killer has over 300 ratings and it's still maintained a 4.2 gives me a bit more hope. Don't Look Away also seems more like a crime thriller and I'm just really not in the mood right now. So I think we're going to read Last Night Was Killer. This also seems a bit more lighthearted as the tagline literally says suspenseful, big-hearted, and a laugh-out-loud story. So maybe this will be more my speed since I'm a little burnt out on thrillers right now. So yes, I'm gonna go start this, read this. I would love to finish this tonight, but if not, maybe tomorrow night, and then I can finally go back to my romantasy. I'm so excited. But I will check in once I have something to say about Last Night Was Killer. Hello, friends. Listen, I tried. I promise you, I really did. I've been working on this for 2 days. The dialogue and the style of writing, I get that it's supposed to be a comedy. Okay, it's supposed to be comedic, it's supposed to be more lighthearted. This is giving millennial mom. This is giving mom that uses TikTok brain rot, but actually like seriously in her life, and everyone else around her does too. It was sort of tongue-in-cheek for a little while, but it's grating on me so bad. And I don't know why this sentence in particular made me shut and go, we're done. It's not even like really the worst, most cringiest sentence in this book. It just for some reason irked me and we were done. The premise of this book is that a single mom wakes up hungover after she went to a pole dancing class, went out with the people in said pole dancing class, got super drunk, and cannot remember her night from like 9 p.m. to like 4:30 a.m. And when she goes to go shopping at a grocery store and put her groceries away, she opens up her trunk and there's a dead body in her trunk. And she has to figure out if she killed him, what happened, and why can't she remember anything for like 7 hours the night before. So that being said, I was at a point where she was hiding this dead body in her backyard. And she says, I was as wired as a tween after her first frappuccino. I don't know why that just put an end to this book for me. I was just over it. I don't know what it was. Was it the tween? Was it the frappuccino? Was it both? I don't know. Now, one thing that's really weird about this book is that it's set in my local town. And it's so weird. I live in Boise, Idaho, and the fact that, and on the first page, the Boise Co-op is mentioned, which is like a local grocery store, and it was so bizarre. And even in this chapter, she's mentioning going out for a drink in Garden City, which is like this niche little city within our city. It was fun and kind of cool, but also bizarre. Has anyone else gotten that if they live in like in a slightly smaller city than like a metropolitan city, and a book set in there, and they keep referencing niche spots around you? It was enjoyable, but it was also maybe sort of taking me out of the book a little bit, because I do use reading as an escape. And so when every time something local is mentioned, I'm being reminded of my reality. Does that make sense? So it was almost like a pro that this book was set where I live, and it was also a hindrance. But yeah, this book, there's so many other examples I could use of the millennial language. I mean, we're going to DNF. Last night was killer, unfortunately. And that is quite a mediocre end to this vlog. I'm going to go on my Goodreads and we can do a little recap of this vlog. And long story short, this was kind of a bust. What a weird reading vlog to do. I thought this was going to be like super fun, reading only ARCs for a week, and it turned out to mostly be a dud. So when it comes to the DNFs, we DNF'd the ARCs of Last Night Was Killer and Redemption Arc by Ashley Perkins, which wasn't an ARC but was sent to me for free by the author. And out of the 3 books I finished, I would say my least favorite was probably Pretty Dead Things. I technically rated Grey After Dark the same as Pretty Dead Things, but I think my enjoyment when I'm reflecting was a little bit more with Grey After Dark. And the best book I read out of this vlog was Wisdom Corner at a 4 star. So it was good, but it still wasn't like I had any books blow me out of the water. That's the hard part about ARCs, is while I ask for some and while I receive some totally out of the blue, there's just this high likelihood that I'm not going to love them. And that's been my experience with ARCs so far. Now, I still really love being an ARC reader, and on that rare time you get a gem and you get to read it first, there's nothing like it. But I am realizing through this vlog, like, dang, maybe I should not ever make a vlog about only reading ARCs again, because there's a high likelihood things are not going to work out. That being said, this reading week is done, thank goodness. I had a pretty mediocre June, not gonna lie in general, and this reading vlog kind of ended the month on a mediocre note. However, my goal for July is to make it a banger. So I think my next reading vlog, if I'm gonna start one, is going to be mood reading for a week. I think I said earlier in this video that I was gonna do romantasy, but then I kind of took a step back and was like, why am I forcing myself to pigeonhole into one genre when I know that if I want July to be a banger, I have to read what I want to read. So I think I'll be doing mood reading for a week. And I might do a TBR jar pull for a week, because that can still give me some level of control. I don't know, I have some reading challenges lined up, but for right now, I think I just want a week of reading whatever I want to read. And hopefully we can start my July reading month with a bang. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're having an amazing day, night, wherever you are, and I hope you're about to read something absolutely stellar and way better than what I just read. And I'll see y'all in the next reading vlog. Bye!